It's all about the game. I know you play it. It's all about the show. It's all about you. It's all about playing. It's not making. I am the game. You know what I'm playing. I am the control. The way you get sick. I am the way you get play. I am the way. I know you can't take me over your shoulder.
Welcome back to the Ask Us Sports Podcast. You've got the Rated R podcast star back in action. Sorry I missed last week. Andy picked up for me. I fell asleep. We got my boy Andy. His hat's a little big. And we got my boy Kenbo J. Slice at the bottom. Ken, how was your weekend, brother?
It was solid, Shane. Glad to have you back. Looking forward to a good show tonight. I see the script is furiously being updated. We are ready to go, locked and loaded.
Let's do it. Andy, how was the weekend, brother?
Busy. Was in Baltimore on Saturday, spending some time with some family. Went to the Baltimore Aquarium, so that was fun. That was interesting. Sunday, just kind of relaxed. Was a little bit more calm, to say the least. Watch football and basketball. Geared up for this week.
Absolutely, and just to touch on some football, I kicked some ass this week in Pick'em. I know we'll eventually get to that, but goddamn, I'm looking good. I'm catching up.
I think that was the best week of the year, actually. I think you beat, because all I did was get 10s before. So I think
the best week prior was 11-4, maybe, or 11.
I think I won 11-2 one week,
So that's just for me blind picking. Maybe I need to do that more and just pick all my picks before the show.
After the show, man.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, he just hedged off of what we picked. He must have done. He had some
extra time to think.
He had some sort of black magic algorithm that he used, like our picks, to hedge his. And he.
Oh God! Let the conspiracy theories fly.
I was gonna say, I think he actually listened to the show. I don't think he was sleeping. He listened.
No,
heard
I was
what we were doing, and then sending his picks afterwards into the group
Oh my
chat.
God! Again,
yes, that's why you had such a good week. Now it all makes sense.
I was watching Australian Survivor before the show last week, and I fell asleep.
Oh, I can't recommend that enough to Survivor fans.
It's really good, right?
It's almost better than U.S. Survivor. It is better than modern U.S. Survivor.
I was gonna say, I think this is the best season I've watched in probably 3 seasons at least.
Yeah, it reminds me of like the good old days, like Pearl Islands and Africa and.
So I will tell you this, Ken. You're still in season 4, right?
Yeah, we're in the merge now.
So the next season is actually All Stars.
Is that the one with Russell?
No, Russell was season 3. He was the one, but right before the one.
I thought he was season 5.
No, he was on. Oh my God, what's his name? My favorite one. The one you really like. King of the Island. What's his name? Dave.
Luke?
Yeah, Luke. He was on Luke's original season.
King of the Jungle.
King of the Jungle. That's it.
King of the Jungle.
But the season is so good.
It is.
I recommend Australian Survivor if you've got Paramount Plus. Amazing show.
Whole season's free. Really good.
Yeah, and I've wanted to check out some different survivors, and I think this is actually top tier. So I know Russell, if you're a follower of Russell Hance, he shits on Australian Survivor a lot.
That's because he sucked at it.
But it's because he got voted out with an idol in his pocket, 23rd. So
yeah, he sucked.
But no, again, like Ken said, I couldn't recommend it enough. If you've got Paramount Plus, check it out. Moving on though, first topic of the night is one that actually surprised me a lot at the beginning of the morning. Was the Wander Franco extension. It was 11 years for like 220 mil. I think Andy said it worked out to be like 17 or 18 mil a year on average, which is a great deal for the Rays. One of the jokes that a beat writer wrote was, "Are the Rays even worth 220 mil?" Which was funny. But Andy, I'll start with you on this one. What are your thoughts on this Franco extension?
It's a fantastic move for Tampa Bay, and I think everybody's surprised because Tampa Bay is not known for giving out these kind of contracts whatsoever. And the final terms of the contract are actually 182 over 11 for Wander Franco, so that averages out. I'm sure it'll be, kind of backloaded, I'm guessing. But the average annual value is $16.5 million a year. I mean, you think about that. The Rays are basically buying out all his arbitration and first, say, 4 or 5 years of his free agency. And I think the Rays are doing it from an inflation standpoint, but they looked at the Braves' motto of signing Acuna, which right now that is a dirt cheap contract. And I'm okay with it as a Braves fan as long as we use those extra proceeds to bring Freddie Freeman back, but that's a different conversation. And then even Ozzie Albies has a really cheap contract for, his superstar level and, of course, inflation standards. So, this contract in, say, 3 to 4 to 5 years when Wander really hits his prime is going to look dirt cheap, not with inflation, but with his skill level, as he will be, 32 years old or something like that, when this contract expires. I think he's only, 21 years old, something
21,
like that.
yeah.
So he'll be 32 when his contract expires. And frankly, as long as he's, playing at a high level, should get another contract, another hefty contract. So I like this deal a lot for both sides. It brings some security for Wander. And, it'll make him a lot of money. He'll stay as a Ray, and that is a great organization from top to bottom. And it's a great deal for Tampa Bay because, frankly, they're going to save a lot of money in the long run. And they know how good of a player he is.
Ken, as Red Sox fans, it kind of hurts to see the Rays spending this kind of money on homegrown talent. And we didn't spend that kind of money on Mookie, which I think frankly, he might not have come back for that cheap, but I think he would have came back.
As Reds, we can't have it all. We want Mookie Betts, but at the end of the day, we also our owners would prefer the Pittsburgh Penguins. So I guess we got the shit end of the stick. I guess
it's got to. That's true. It's got to worry you a little bit because Xander has an opt-out clause after this year coming up.
Yeah,
and I think he's only got 30 mil left on his contract. So he's definitely going to opt out, right? And do you think he comes back?
No, I don't. I don't really think so. No, especially now with the direction this is going with a lot of the young talent coming up, or at least in the pipeline to come up soon. Cassis and all the other guys, especially in the fact that they drafted a shortstop this year. Yeah, I think he's going to get a lucrative offer somewhere else, probably somewhere that's going to pay him more than what we'd be willing to offer. We could go back and forth. It's probably a different topic as to whether he has earned it or how much he has earned. He did kind of disappear for parts last year. It's also probably fair to say that he does not have the ceiling that you would see on a Wander Franco. So, actually, speaking of Wander Franco, so I agree with everything Vig said about the organization, but I also kind of have a different opinion of Tampa Bay overall in the sense that they're really, really good at developing talent. But do they ever really figure out what to do with it when it gets there? And what I mean by that is they've never really put it together, but I feel like they've been developing talent for the better part of a decade plus now. Whether it tends to go somewhere else or it doesn't pan out or it gets injured, it doesn't always tend to work out for them because they've never really put it together at the end. So are they going to keep him or are they going to use him as a bargaining chip in the future? And that didn't even come to my mind, actually. And I'm going to read to you a text that a friend of mine, John, sent about this earlier in the day. And I found it quite funny. He goes, "I'm willing to bet he's gone in 3 to 4 years. It'll be time for them to turn over the roster with new prospects, and Wander will bring a fucking Brinks truck of them. He'll still barely be hitting his prime and under team control for years. This was an investment in players that haven't even been drafted yet, which is such a Tampa Bay thing, isn't it? I thought it was an interesting perspective, and I
Was
wouldn't
that John
rule
Hall?
it. Yeah,
I was gonna say that sounds like
it's a
like
base.
John Hall
Yeah,
has all these like weird Nostradamus, like he called Alex Bregman.
he said Alex
cheating.
Bregman was bad, and he said Alex Bregman was not good, and that something else was going on. And sure enough, there was. So I like his baseball mind. It's outside the box, and it's not always straightforward. But I could see it. I don't know. I think they lock up Wander Franco, but if they're going to want to try and win in this short-term window, because I don't think they're going to let this entire contract play out. I definitely don't. I 100% think that by the time he is in his late 20s, maybe 4 or 5 years left, he's going to get moved. At least that's what I think.
No, I definitely agree. That's definitely a Rays type move. Is move your guys before they hit ARB. Now that he's signed through arbitration, it probably makes him look even more attractive, right? Because now he's under control for dirt cheap, like Andrew said, and teams are going to want that. They're going to want the Wander Franco, who's probably going to be one of the faces of the MLB towards the back half of this contract, I'd assume, if he's not already one of the young faces of the.
Yeah, depends how quick he comes up. Tatis kind of like took it by storm and was really fast. And a lot of the 2018 guys just kind of hit the majors and then boom, started mashing right away. Historically that hasn't been the case, and even like right now, like it took Bo Bichette a little while. It's taking Luis Robert a little while. It's starting to come together. But it took a little while. It took a little while for Jordan too, and then even the guys before that, it took a while for Yelich. But like with the 2018 guys are an anomaly. Acuna, Soto, Tatis, they just mashed from the get-go. So it'll take Wander a few years, I think, to get to his ceiling.
Another player that I think is going to be someone that brings in a lot of prospects. Actually, in our group chat, Ken, with Sandy. Jazz Chisholm. I think the Miami Marlins are going to eventually move him in the next, I would even say 2 to 3 years.
They won't hit arbitration.
His contract.
Yeah, he won't hit arbitration. He's not one of those guys that has a contract, right?
No, he'd have to go to ARB.
Yeah,
he was in the D-backs trade. I don't remember what they got.
But I don't either. I'm trying to look up. Oh, it was Zach Allen.
Yeah, but he's one of those guys that I think gets moved for a bunch of prospects. Think Miggy or Christian Yelich, and I think he goes to a much better team and really becomes a star. I think he's gonna flirt with stardom in Miami, but it's not a big enough market, and I don't think the Marlins are going to be good enough for him to really, pop out like a Ronald Acuna.
His scouting report is really, really promising. I was trying to see if there was like player comps, because honestly, I haven't watched them much. I mean, who the hell watches Marlins games?
He's an electrifying talent. If he brought his average up from 248 to 280, 290, he would get on base more. He would score more runs.
I love that he anchors second base, because historically you're willing to trade off some of the offensive production just because you're an efficient second baseman, which is typically a black hole.
And he's a 20 to 25 home run guy. I mean, he had 18 last year, 124 games with the Marlins. For me, if he plays 140, 150 games at second and improves that batting average, strikes out a little bit less. He struck out 145 times last year in 124 games. Brings that strikeout rate down, kind of similar to Austin Riley. Talk about it with the Braves. And when he first came up, he was either mashing home runs or striking out on the breaking pitches, and you can see how much he's improved with that. He's a 300 hitter, and he's just as dangerous as any hitter in baseball. I'm not saying that Jazz Chisholm's going to be a 30 to 40 home run guy, but if he improves that batting average, he's going to see a lot more of that stardom that you guys were talking about. Keep in mind, he's also playing in Miami. That's not an easy ballpark to be a hitter in.
See, I think if he's in a better hitter's park, he's a 30-30 guy. He reminds me now. I know you guys are going to kill me on this, but he reminds me a lot of Alfonso Soriano. He's got a lot.
Have you
He's got a
seen
lot of.
him lately? By the way,
Soriano is jacked.
why isn't he on a roster? Right, probably because he's taking illegal.
Well, I'm pretty sure Soriano's like 42.
Well,
I'm Googling it right now.
I get that, Shane, but still, I mean, good Lord.
Oh no, he's jacked. He looks like he could be a linebacker.
He's 45.
He looks like he could be a linebacker. I don't know if you've seen the pictures, Ken, but he's freaking huge now. He looks like he's taking PEDs now. But
these tweets are hilarious, talking about how big he is. Alfonso Swoliano.
But no, I think Chisholm has a lot of Soriano to him. Maybe not the 320 plus average that Soriano could carry, but I think he could be a 30-30 guy easy, and play good defense at second. If he's in a better hitter's park, I think the Marlins park will definitely limit his home run production.
I mean, that's no problem. Jeter has no issue trading guys for pennies on the dollar. So.
Oh yeah, Jeter's going to send Chisholm to the Yankees.
Honestly, he's probably going to send him to the Cardinals or something. I feel like he has a hard-on for St. Louis, or is it St. Louis?
Andy loves St. Louis.
Who's he always giving talent to? He always gives talent to the same teams.
It's anywhere his buddies are.
Yeah.
When Matheny was in St. Louis, it was to Matheny. Obviously, he sent guys to the Yankees. He sent Stanton to the Yankees. So I mean, Chisholm will get traded eventually. He's not going to stay
to the Yankees.
I mean, honestly, I'd be okay with it because I'm really trying to invest in him right now.
He would mash there.
I think we're already off subject, so it doesn't matter.
We are way off the track.
But if Ohtani went to the Yankees, I know that's Andy's wet dream. I know he's not a Yankees fan, but
I don't know if I trust him.
Imagine him pitching in New York.
I don't think that
not as a pitcher. I mean, as strictly as a DH.
Yeah, he would have to be there, Shane. I mean, he struggled at Yankee Stadium.
He's only going to pitch for a few more years anyway.
I agree with that. He's going to be a hitter long term, no doubt about that.
But as Andy said, Ohtani has the perfect swing for New York, for the Yankee Stadium, and I can only imagine how many homers.
Seager. So does Corey Seager.
He does. He's going to look good there.
I still think he's a favorite to go to the Yankees.
Let's move on real quick. Andy just added this. Kendall Graveman, great relief pitcher for the Astros, signed with the White Sox, 3 years, $24 million. White Sox adding to an already stacked bullpen. White Sox are gearing up to make another run at it this year. What are you thinking here, Ken?
I love the bullpen. I mean, Hendricks, is Kimbrel going to still be there? I believe,
I mean, he's expected to be there.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if he was a trade chip potentially.
I know, and the fact that it doesn't look like you're going to move Kopech yet, at least not that I've seen. So, I mean, they have a really, really loaded bullpen. To be honest with you, it looks.
What
really
did they move?
good.
I forget what they moved Madrigal for.
Madrigal was in the Kimbrel trade.
Oh, true.
And then they also brought in, what's his name from the Cubs? Not just the reliever.
I know who you're talking about.
I can't remember it off the top of my head.
The young guy.
Was he a bat? I can't.
No, he was a relief pitcher. But
anyways, go ahead. I'll think of it.
But no, the White Sox have a good team this year. You got Luis Robert coming back, healthy. You've got Jose Abreu. I mean, this team is loaded. Eloy Jimenez is going to have hopefully a healthy year.
Honestly, and this is going to segue nicely into another topic on the opener. But I'm going to answer one of the questions in the script right now. The White Sox need to be the ones to go get Nick Castellanos. It is an absolutely 100% perfect fit. I was looking through teams and I was like, yeah, the Giants, they do make sense. And he's from Miami, but they don't spend money. He's an absolutely perfect fit in Chicago. They don't have a right fielder. They played, the hell is the guy's name? Adam. It wasn't Adam Eaton. It was like a different Adam.
Adam Engel.
Ingles.
Engel, yeah.
Some scrub. He couldn't stay on the field. He was bad. That's like the one glaring hole in this offense that if you fill it with Castellanos, who batted .309 last year, which would have been the team lead or tied for the team lead, one of the two. It's just a perfect fit, in my opinion, especially in the middle of the lineup. I really think it would be a missed opportunity for the White Sox if they don't go grab him.
And that would send Castellanos back to the NL or the AL Central, where obviously he was with the Tigers.
I think it's a good move.
I love Castellanos. I was a big fan of him when I covered the Lakeland Tigers when he was playing down there in single A ball. Really good bat.
He's your
but
kind
see,
of guy.
I think Mitch Haniger goes to the White Sox.
Oh.
And Castellanos goes to the Mariners.
Regardless, they need to go get a right fielder in the market for sure. So that
Mitch Haniger would have to be traded. I think he's
isn't Haniger a free agent?
No, Kyle Seager is a free agent this year.
Oh, okay,
here's a conspiracy theory on Seager. I think the Yankees could get Kyle Seager to play first base.
Oh,
and then sign his brother to play short and reunite.
Do you think that would be something the Seagers want?
I don't see why not. He could play first base.
I mean, it's
he's
not that
primarily a third baseman, but
it's not
he's a
not
veteran.
Like Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber was a career outfielder who they asked to play first base on a whim. Kyle Seager would just be flipping ends of the diamond, so it's not that intrusive. I don't think.
Yes, but here's the thing: is Schwarber was a catcher turned outfielder. Seager is a corner infielder by trade, so he can play either position in my eyes. So
what would the Yankees do? Is Rizzo a free agent?
Rizzo's a free agent. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Shane, the right field market.
And it brings in two left-handed bats.
Say that again, Ken.
The right field market, other than Castellanos, is pretty gross.
Yeah, I know. I love the Castellanos to the White Sox. I mean, it's a good fit. I think it blocks Cespedes' brother, though. I know they're pretty high on him.
That's true. That is true. And you're not going to take Robert and Eloy out, so I guess you got to be careful.
But I mean, you can do different things, right? Because Castellanos can play third and first as well.
He should be able to.
Maybe you move Abreu to DH permanently.
Right, and Jose Abreu, everybody says he's older than we think. So
yeah, I mean, oh God, I don't want this to come off bad, but all the Cuban ball players they say are older than they actually are.
No, they really do say that about Jose Abreu, that he's listed as 34, but they say he's probably like 38.
And it's usually at least 2 years. They've said that about Pujols his entire career.
And maybe that's why he fell off so early.
Well, aren't they saying that about Miguel Cabrera now, that he's actually older than he is?
That would make sense because he was hitting 40 home runs at age 14.
He's also had a ton of off-field distractions too, going back to his homeland.
They say that he's what? I forget how old he is. 37 right now.
38.
And people say he's like 42 or 43.
Probably. I mean, the dude was mashing.
Like he was 18 when he came up, right?
He was mashing in diapers at the major league level.
So like he's another one that they're like speculating his age because of his fall off. But I mean, this has gone way off the rails. But anyways,
that's why I segued to Castellanos. So
I do want to touch on this LeBron subject. The LeBron punch to the face to Isaiah Stewart. LeBron got 1 game suspension. Stewart got 2 for acting a fool on the court, which I think was justified. If I'm Stewart, I'm killing LeBron after that cheap shot. He punched him right in the fucking face.
It was such a cheap shot.
And LeBron looked at him as he was hitting him. So, like, LeBron knew that he was about to fucking beat the shit out of him.
If this situation was reversed, Isaiah Stewart would be run out of the league or at least suspended like 10 games.
Well, LeBron would have flopped into the fucking crowd.
Can you imagine LeBron James bleeding like that? The world would have to halt. We'd have to stop everything. The NBA would have to stop for a moment of silence.
You would have thought that motherfucker got shot if LeBron was bleeding like that.
I was so entertained by him running around like an absolute maniac.
Did you see Russell Westbrook putting his arms up like he was gonna fight?
Yeah, sure. Okay, buddy. Yeah, like you weren't gonna fight. Like, and LeBron wanted absolutely none of that smoke at all. At all, he wanted no part.
Well, did you
of
see after the game he had like his bodyguard go in and tell Stewart that he was sorry?
his bodyguard, right? Yeah. Thanks.
Because like he was afraid to face him man to man. Like that's
Well,
so
Isaiah
true.
Stewart like started bolting to the back, like you thought he was gonna like run around and come back
Oh,
out. The other
did you watch the announcers? They're like, oh, everyone's lining up like he's about to come out of the Lakers tunnel.
What's gonna happen the next time they play?
Oh, it's gonna be a bloodbath. That's the kind of shit that starts like the Malice in the Palace version 2.
I am in full support of Isaiah Stewart moving forward.
So, Andy, do you think that LeBron should have got like a 5 or 7 game suspension here?
No, but I feel like if it was anybody else, probably he would have.
I think he should have got the same 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the thing: is that the league probably will think, well, he'll appeal it. LeBron will appeal it, and they'll appeal it down to 1. So just suspend him for 1. He won't appeal it, and he'll just serve it.
Yeah, he'll just take his punishment.
Honestly,
it's a step on the wrist for LeBron James, the best player in the league. The NBA doesn't want to see LeBron James miss any time. He's already been injured this year. It's better for the league when LeBron James plays. So, who cares about Isaiah Stewart? They can suspend him 5-10 games for whatever. Nobody's going to miss him. But
so what happens in an alternate universe? What happens if no one holds back Stewart? Do you think he just kills LeBron?
I think LeBron would have ran.
Andy, what do you think happens? Do you think
LeBron just probably flops to the floor?
DeAndre Jordan looked like he was ready to step in on his behalf.
Who did?
DeAndre Jordan looked like he was ready to step in on LeBron's behalf.
Oh, nice. I mean, it just pisses me off because, like, if LeBron's the one that gets punched in the face, he's literally nose diving into the crowd. Just got shot.
The one game is a technicality that they had to do because of Isaiah Stewart's reaction, which made it such a story. If Isaiah Stewart didn't react, LeBron's not getting a game, and that's wrong because LeBron sucker punched him.
Did you see his face? Like, he looked like he just went through a fucking war.
Right. But the only reason that LeBron got a game is because he acted the fool.
Yeah. Which is crazy. I hate LeBron. And one more thing I'd like to touch on real quick. So Baker Mayfield addressed the fans yesterday that were booing him in the fourth quarter. I don't think he deserved that. I'm a big Mayfield guy. Ken knows that. I know Ken likes Baker. He's playing with a ton of injuries. I know Andy's shaking his head. He's probably thinking Baker's a pussy. But Baker's playing with a ton of injuries. In my opinion, the Browns should probably shut him down. I've never seen the Browns. I think I've seen the Browns in the playoffs once my whole life. The second time I saw them in the playoffs, it was because of Baker. Baker won a playoff game for him that they haven't won in my lifetime. Beat the shit out of Andy Steelers. Beat the fucking brakes off him.
Okay, Shane, keep going.
But basically Baker just said, he brushed it off, was a class act, said, these are probably the stupid fans that are making noise when we're asking them to be quiet on offense. I don't know.
Where's the exact quote? Yeah, okay, you're reading it. That's fine. I didn't know that was right.
Yeah, that's the exact quote.
Those are probably the same fans that won't be quiet while we're on offense and trying to operate. So don't really care.
Yeah. Okay.
I just think it's stupid that the Browns fans are being so hypocritical of Baker. He does what he can with what he's given. I mean, look at the receivers he's operating with right now. He was throwing to guys I've never even fucking heard of on Sunday. So, Andy, what are your thoughts here?
Yet they got rid of Odell Beckham Jr. So
Odell Beckham Jr. got rid of himself.
So I get Baker. He's hurt. He's got multiple injuries that he's dealing with right now: foot, knee, shoulder, everything. I agree that the Browns should shut him down. And I think it's unfair to Baker that they're making him play through all these injuries when he's clearly not healthy. So here's my thought about Baker.
He can't even plant to throw.
Here's my thought about Baker. On the Browns, he is a franchise quarterback because the Browns have never had a franchise quarterback probably since Bernie Kosar. And then from that point, when have they ever had a franchise quarterback? So Baker Mayfield to the Browns is like their quarterback savior that they've been looking for forever. On any other team, he's mediocre. And again, he's going through some injuries right now. And that, again, is not fair to him. But for me, I just see that to me, he's just not the game changer that I think the Browns need. I think Baker and Case Keenum is not that much of a difference, even
You're
when he's healthy.
Nuts, dude.
You're
nuts.
I think there's a difference between Keenum and Baker, but I don't totally disagree with the take in the sense that he has been elevated and put on a pedestal because he is the best Browns quarterback we have ever seen play football. And he's not really there yet to the point where he's upper echelon. It says more about how pathetic the Browns are than about Baker Mayfield.
Correct.
But I do think he was kind of being anointed as a top 5 quarterback, maybe top 10, maybe, but top 5. He was getting up there. When I think what's more realistic is potentially
middle of the road.
Carson Wentz, Derek Carr, Matt Ryan, Ryan Tannehill type of guy.
Which isn't a bad group to be in.
And they're starting quarterbacks
right in the middle of the league. It's right in the middle of the league.
Yeah.
You know who he is better than? Jalen Hurts.
No, he's not. Jalen Hurts is better. Oh, and by the way, I wish I could pull this up here, but we just compared, Jalen Hurts to Tua, which is, to me, not a fair comparison. I think Jalen Hurts should be compared more to, say, a Lamar Jackson. So between Lamar and Jalen Hurts, first 15 starts, Lamar Jackson has 4,120 yards of total offense. Jalen Hurts, 4,115. Lamar Jackson, 26 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts, 29. Lamar Jackson, 12 turnovers. Jalen Hurts, 11. First downs, 213 for Lamar Jackson, 209 for Jalen Hurts. So it's amazing what can happen when Jalen Hurts has a running game, when they decide to not just make it all about himself, throw him to the fire. And he's been amazing for the Eagles the last month or so since they've established a ground game with Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders and company. So this is what I've expected all season, and it's finally coming to fruition.
You know what I was going to say about that, Andy, and it's in defense of your argument. What makes Jalen Hurts more impressive than Lamar Jackson is that Jalen Hurts is doing it in spite of everything around him, which is the fact that he has an incompetent coach, an incompetent defense, and a lack of a running game, and a very the receivers are great, but the coach does not dedicate any time to the running game. The coach is putting Jalen Hurts in positions to fail, and he isn't. Whereas Harbaugh has literally revamped an entire organization to make sure that Lamar Jackson succeeds in his role. So to that end, I'm actually more impressed with what Jalen Hurts is doing than what I've seen from Lamar.
And the Eagles now all of a sudden have a chance at the postseason. I mean, you look at the number 7 seed in the NFC, that's the New Orleans Saints at 5-6. The Eagles all of a sudden are a half game out at 5-5. And you can argue that the Saints are just going downhill without Jameis Winston, without Alvin Kamara has been banged up the last couple of weeks, and Michael Thomas is out for the season. The 49ers are trending up a little bit. So they'll be a team to watch. The Panthers, we thought they were trending up, but not necessarily anymore. We'll see.
Darnold sucks again.
So we'll see. So you got the Eagles who are trending up, and then from there it's Washington, Atlanta, and the Giants, and all. So for me, I think the Eagles are trending really high right now. They're playing really good football, and I think they have a chance at getting in at one of the wild card spots.
Ken, here's a conspiracy theory for you, Ken. Taysom Hill, he got a new contract, a $44 million contract yesterday. What kind of photographs does he have of Sean Payton?
They're clearly like brothers. They must be related in somehow. They hang out together. They're best friends. I don't know. There's something there. Or
Taysom's got some dirt.
You might as well just make him the starting quarterback and let him suck into the ground. Like you gave him the money. So just throw him out there and
the contract actually goes up to like $60 million if he starts for like 10 games.
Just put him out there. You already gave him this money for no reason. He's never.
And it's like $25 million guaranteed too. So it's like half the contract's guaranteed.
You might as well just say screw it. Screw Jameis Winston. Screw Trevor Siemian. Screw Ian Book. Screw whoever the hell it is. Just let him play quarterback and stink up the joint because you're paying him to. Like
do you think that he's got pictures of like Sean Payton cheating on his wife?
I was going to say he's got some dirt on the organization.
Let's say best case scenario, you wanted to lock him up because he's a Swiss Army knife. What did you pay him that much for?
I think he would have took like $5 million.
It's literally like paying that much money for a Wildcat specialist. That's what he is. He comes
like
in
paying Pat White to
right. It's like he comes in and does trick fluky plays. It'd be like paying Devin Hester that much money simply to return kicks, and that's probably more efficient than paying him because at least Devin Hester's going to run 4 back.
I was going to say I think Devin Hester's career has more touchdowns.
Exactly. That's crazy.
He's got pictures of Sean Payton doing something like. Sean Payton's cheating on his wife. Maybe he's at a gay club. Who knows?
Sean Payton. Sean Payton, he's losing.
The only other thing that Taysom Hill needs is a K1 for whatever ownership he has with the organization because I think that's next.
Like I'm almost certain like when Taysom Hill retires, he's gonna be like it's gonna be found out that like Taysom Hill was part of this ownership group that owned the team or something.
Yeah, there's something here like he's Sean Payton from the past, went through a time machine, and now
or like he's having sex with like the old lady that owns the team. I don't know.
Could be worth anywhere between 40 and 95 million, depending on the position he plays. What does that mean?
I should have become more athletic. I really do.
Yeah, Andy, your video of you running around the bases. Every team's coming to. We'll send that as like your audition tape. We'll send that to the
Maybe
Steelers.
I can get 10 mil for that.
We'll see if they need a water boy to run on the field for some comedic relief.
Everybody that remembers that on Twitter, everybody that follows me, I put it on Twitter at Viggy Betts.
What'd you say, Ken?
You've done more in that video than Taysom Hill has done this season.
Hey, I tried, man. I tried running the second.
So Andy, what do we got in Viggy Betts today? Anything? I know you're having a rough night.
Bad beats galore. I don't even want to talk about it. The biggest bad beat of the night. Stephen F. Austin, Buffalo under 155. That was a system play. It looked amazing. Then 91 points were scored in the second half, including the dagger 3 with a half second left. I was at 154. I was good for 1 point. Dude comes in, hits a 3-pointer, a meaningless 3-pointer, by the way, to make it a 1-point game with a half second left to kill my bet. So, yeah, that was crushing. It looks like I could be 0-4. Hopefully, my only hope is Providence coming back to beat UVA. I have them -2. Tonight, we're going to cash, though. Tonight, UCLA +7 against Gonzaga and the over 156.5 for that game. We're getting the rematch of the Final Four, incredible thriller game last year. Remember Jalen Suggs with the game-winning 3-point shot just over half court to give Gonzaga the win in the Final Four, 93-90. So there was 183 points scored in that game, 21 of them in overtime. So 162 in regulation. So either way, that bet would have cashed for us, and we're going to have a fantastic nightcap in Las Vegas.
Absolutely. Ken, ECBC, what do we got going on, brother?
Yeah, still a little quiet on the collectible front due to low amount of releases in the pipeline. Though we're picking it up a little bit as we start to turn into December. Top Stadium Club Chrome has officially arrived. Break that will be opening maybe tomorrow. Break shortly after Thanksgiving, perhaps. Thinking auction style. So get in the Discord. And in addition to that, I'm thinking. Panini XR is a football product that comes out soon. Also, new development. I have now acquired a Target Red card, so I am now eligible for these Target exclusive drops, such as the Absolute Mega Box, which is both a Kaboom and a guaranteed auto, or a Kaboom chance and a guaranteed auto. I should correct myself there.
Did you see Mosaic Basketball came out today?
I did see that, but I have not read or seen any rips yet. Seen anything good?
Yeah, I don't know where the Dutch auction ended at because it was first offline.
I honestly haven't been buying much basketball, but I imagine Mosaic LaMelo will be quite a hot topic for sure. Still interesting that they're releasing 2020 product or 2021 product.
I just don't understand why they don't do, because it was 2011 and 2012 when the lockout happened, that they just combined the two rookie classes. I don't know why they just don't do that for these two classes.
I know, and just smush the two Mosaic.
Because they did that for Prism. The first year of Prism had 2011 and 2012 rookies together.
Yeah, that's interesting. I know they might as well have done that, but I don't know. They were really late, so it's weird, very strange. But yeah, so we're gonna do some Stadium Club Chrome baseball, and then we're gonna do football again. But we're waiting for the releases. I did actually order some retail Absolute. Maybe there's a Kaboom in there. I don't know what I'll do with them yet if we do a break.
Nice.
But we'll see. Yeah, trying to get some of the sneakier stuff, some of the lower cost stuff to keep us occupied during the lull periods. Though things are definitely going to pick up in December. The end of December is going to be hot. Right before New Year's, we have Mosaic football and we have Bowman Draft baseball. So
yes, I'm so excited.
Very much looking forward to both of those. Those will definitely be on the pipeline. So keep your eyes open, guys.
All right, and then that brings us to our last segment of the night, Week 12 Pick'em. Right now we've got Ken in the lead at 102, 62-1. He went 9-6 last week. He has 4 games up on Andy, who's 98, 66-1. He went 8-7 last week. And then you've got the King, myself, 96, 68-1. 6 games back at Ken, going 12-3 last week.
King of the jungle.
So let's dive right into it.
Sorry.
Oh, fuck you. So we get the first game out of the way on Thanksgiving. It's going to be shit. You don't have to watch it. It's going to be the Andy Dalton versus Tim Boyle matchup.
I'm hearing Dolph might play.
I'm going to watch my dynasty receiver Darnell Mooney continue to break out. I wonder what chump I got him from.
Andy.
No, Shane, that was you.
I'm taking the Bears here. Yeah,
I like the way Andy Dalton played. I liked what I saw last week. There was a little spark from the ginger, and the Lions are cupcakes soft. They are terrible defensively. They put together a couple of nice games before the bye week. Then the bye week happened, and usually
it's so sad what's happening to DeAndre Swift. Like, he's actually had some good games. I think he'd be good on any other team.
He's good here. He's just useless because they suck. I think the Bears are going to roll here, at least by 10. I
agree. Andy, where are you on this one?
I'm with you. I'm hoping that David Montgomery has a big game for the Bears this week. I think it's a perfect opportunity for him to have a great game, to lean on the running game, and that allows Andy Dalton to complete some play action passes and get some easy throws over the middle and maybe even down the field. So yeah, I'm on the Bears train on this one.
Darnell Mooney, 68% owned in my redraft fantasy leagues. You guys should be adding him. Number 1 receiver for the Bears. The breakout is real.
Going into the second game of Thanksgiving, we've got another classic, Raiders at Cowboys. Dallas is very good on Thanksgiving games. They're very good in general. I'm taking the Cowboys. Ken, I imagine you're doing pretty much the same.
I am, but they're beat up. No Amari Cooper, maybe no CeeDee Lamb, a lot of Michael Gallup, a lot of Cedric Wilson. I think they'll still be okay, though. I'm not too worried about it.
Zeke did practice, so.
Yeah. Cowboys defense is good. Not something we expected to see this year, but it is good. And I
Micah Parsons is amazing.
Going to give them some fits, so I like the Cowboys. I'm not picking against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. They'd have to be playing a juggernaut.
Andy, where are you on this one?
I just think the Raiders have lost their mojo. Going from earlier in the season between the John Gruden and Henry Ruggs, and then they lost Arnett. I think they released him because of his troubling.
Well, he's a psycho, so yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, of course, but I mean those are first round picks that they had over the last couple of years, and then of course their head coach John Gruden. I just think they've lost their mojo, their will to fight. So on a short week, they have to travel to Dallas. Zeke is questionable, but I think he'll play. CeeDee Lamb is questionable. Amari Cooper's already out, so they are battling injuries. But I think this is a game that they lean heavily on Zeke if he's healthy and expects to play. And I just their defense, I think, will force Derek Carr to make a couple mistakes. Hopefully, those mistakes go to Anthony Brown or Trevon Diggs. So I'm going with the Cowboys.
And that brings us to our late game on Thanksgiving. Bills at the Saints. Andy, where are you leaning on this one?
I'm very perplexed at how the Bills are playing, just overall. I mean, this Bills team is 6-4 right now, and they're now the number 6 seed in the AFC, which is unbelievably shocking me because they have a good defense. And their offense can be lethal, but then they've also been their worst enemy. But I think they go down to New Orleans this week. It's a bounce back opportunity for them. Of course, the Saints are reeling right now. So I think the Bills get the job done this week and get back in the win column.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm taking the Bills as well. Ken, where are you?
I will also pick the Bills simply because I think not having Alvin Kamara kind of makes the Saints what the Panthers are without CMC, really just not the same operation. So I don't think Kamara is going to play. I think Ingram will, but Kamara will not. And I think the Bills will figure this thing out. I don't think it's going to be dominant, though. I think the Saints are going to play well.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Josh Allen just needs to have a good game, and I think we'll be okay. Moving into our next one, we've got Pittsburgh going to Cincinnati. As Andy would say, going to the Natty.
That's a new one.
If Najee Harris is going to play, I like the Steelers a lot. Andy, has there been any update on Najee yet?
He returned to the game late on Sunday night. So, I mean, I think he's fine. I think he'll be okay. Probably a little bit banged up. I'm more concerned about the defense with TJ Watt, Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson got hurt as well. So that could be am I looking at – no, I'm looking at the week 3. I'm sorry. But TJ Watt was out. Joe Hayden was out. Minkah Fitzpatrick is out. To say the least, defensively, the Steelers are banged up. So that would be my biggest concern heading into this week. Najee did come back into the game, like I said, for the Steelers, so I think he'll be okay. But if we're going to miss the personnel that we are without, like we didn't have, against the Chargers, I find it hard to believe that we're going to be able to contain this Bengals offense with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and company. I want to go with my heart here just because I think the Steelers with Ben Roethlisberger, we put up a hell of a comeback, hell of a fight. And the Steelers always get up for the Bengals no matter what. So for me, I'm going to go with my heart on this one. I don't want to predict the Bengals to win because I just would feel really, really dirty if I did that. So it might cost me in the long run, but I'm going to go with my heart and pick Pittsburgh.
Ken, where are you on this one?
I will pick Cincinnati for you. I think they're going to. I think this would be a sweep of the Steelers for the season. But really, it's just because of the Steelers' defensive holes. I don't think they're going to do well with a multi-dynamic offense that can run and pass like the Bengals can. I think they could probably patch some of the holes if they were going against a team that's a little more one-dimensional. I think it would have been better if they were facing like Baltimore this week. But with what the Bengals can throw at them offensively, I think it's going to be a struggle without that personnel. So I will take the Bengals. But I think it'll be close. I think the spread is 3.5. I would probably think this stays a 3-point game.
And Andy, I'm gonna go with your heart. I'm gonna take the Steelers as well.
Okay.
I think if you've got Cam Hayward and you've got a healthy Cam Hayward, like we saw against the Chargers, going at Joe Burrow, it changes the dynamic a little bit. If he's got Joe on the run a little bit. Changes the flow of the offense. He's looked really good. Hopefully, some of the guys that are behind these stars can step up, play some strong ball. I like the Steelers this week. I just think Tomlin has them ready to go against the Bengals.
I think
like Ken said, though, I think it is a low scoring. It's a tight game. Might not be low scoring, but it'll be tight.
And the Steelers are anticipating getting back T.J. Watt, Joe Hayden, and Minkah Fitzpatrick this week at practice. So if, Minkah had COVID, so as long as he tests negative and he's okay, he'll be fine. Joe Hayden and T.J. Watt coming back this week would be huge for the Steelers and actually give the Steelers a legitimate fight to go out and beat the Bengals. So if we get all those three back, I feel really good about going with my heart here.
Then we go into the next game. We've got the Panthers at the Dolphins. We've seen Cam Newton. He played pretty good last week. The Panthers look like they're kind of rejuvenated a little bit. But I'm taking the Dolphins. Dolphins have looked strong. Tua's looked good. Give me the Dolphins. Ken, where are you on this one?
I would say Tua's looked okay. I think good is a little too much credit. They have no rushing attack. They have no defense. And I like what I've seen from Cam Newton. As long as Christian McCaffrey's healthy, this is a well-oiled machine. It's a really good operation. You have the threat of what Cam can do with his arm and his leg in the red zone. Notice what I say he can do with his arm in the red zone because it's only a 20-yard out. That is really the best way you utilize him moving forward. As long as Christian McCaffrey's healthy, that's a big if. The Panthers, I like them a lot here. I'm surprised the spread's only 1. I'm not impressed with Miami beating up on shit teams. So I think Carolina's better than what we're giving them credit for, and I think the Newton operation gets another win here.
Okay. Andy, where are you on this one?
It's tough because I could go CMC, Cam Newton. I like them a lot. I just don't know if they can put it together for a full 60 minutes. And you got to look at how good Miami has been playing defensively over the last few weeks. I mean, that includes a pretty much domination of the Ravens. So, especially when they're at home, I feel like they play a bit more inspired at home. I was impressed with Tua last week. I think he went 27 of 33 and had, I think, 2 or 3 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. So I know it was against the Jets.
I
get it. It was against the Jets, and that you have to take that into consideration. But I've seen Miami play really well against better teams too. So for me, Carolina has not proven to me that they can be trusted going on the road. They just have not played well as a unit, as a cohesive unit. I thought they would blow the doors out of Washington this past weekend with their rejuvenated lineup with Cam Newton and CMC in there. And they got off to a great start, but then they just kind of went, wow, like what the hell happened? and they pretty much were a Swiss cheese defense for Taylor Heineke and co. So for me, I think that the Dolphins get it done with their defense. They've been playing really well. I'm going to go with Miami to get a close victory on Sunday at home.
You guys are absolutely high. You're sniffing the same Sharpies.
We'll find out.
The Dolphins have beat the Jets, the Texans, and the Baltimore on Thursday night. So I don't think that inspires much confidence for me either. And what
inspires confidence with you in Carolina?
Carolina on the road. Didn't they just absolutely – Carolina just blew the doors off of Arizona on the road.
And they just lost to the Washington football team at home
with
true. Cam Newton starting and
Miami
healthy.
I think Miami got their first win since week 1 a couple weeks ago, so that was good for them.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be a good game. I don't see the Dolphins blowing the Panthers out. I think it's a low-scoring game. It just depends. If Cam plays good, I think it's basically the Panthers go as Cam goes, right? So if Cam and CMC play well, then they're probably going to win.
If you can frustrate CMC and basically limit it to Christian McCaffrey, just don't make Christian McCaffrey beat you. Frustrate Cam Newton, get them off the field, and I think Miami can get it done in a relative.
I think CMC at the helm. This is an entirely different team. Look what Sam Darnold looked like with CMC. Now everybody's out on him.
I would agree with you if Carolina got the job done against Washington. I was so just disappointed with how they played. They started out fantastic. First quarter, put 14 up on the board, and then they just didn't do anything.
So what I've noticed about the Panthers a lot is at the beginning of games, it's scripted for DJ Moore to get a lot of touches in the passing game. And then they stop looking to him as the game progressively goes forward. I think he averages like 5 to 6 catches in the first half, and then after that it drops to like I think 3 targets from the second half on. So it just seems like the offense Matt Rule runs in the second half, whatever it is just not great. So. I think they need to, if they can get DJ Moore involved, which he scored the first touchdown against the football team. You get him involved. You've got CMC running the ball. They're a good team. It's just can Rule stick with the game plan. Moving on, I think this is a pretty easy one. Eagles going to the Meadowlands. I think the Eagles win pretty easily here. The Giants are the worst team in the NFL. They just fired Jason Garrett.
That might actually make
that's a good thing. It's a very good thing.
Yeah.
Danny Dimes has been.
They might.
There's rumors that Danny Dimes might be regulated to the backup role this week. So,
who's the other quarterback?
I have no idea who their backup is.
They could win the Super Bowl now that they fired Jason
whoever
Garrett.
their backup is taking first team reps. So
Mike Glennon.
So I'm going to take the Eagles here.
It's really
Andy, are you doing the same?
It's really unfortunate because I think if you put a competent and I say this nicely because Andrew Thomas is really good in my eyes, but if you put a competent offensive line in front or to protect Daniel Jones, I think he's a competent quarterback. Saquon Barkley just can't stay healthy, and that really limits their offense. And, with the way the Eagles have been playing, like we've just talked about, they've been amazing. So I think the biggest matchup here is the defensive line with Fletcher Cox and company against that Giants piss poor offensive line. I think that hurts the Giants and makes the Eagles defense and could force a couple turnovers and give Jalen Hurts the opportunity to shine once again. So I'm taking the Eagles.
Ken, I imagine you're doing the same.
I will, but I do agree with the fact that Daniel Jones is not as bad as it seems, and he is not the reason the Giants suck. There's a lot of people who've compared Daniel Jones as like the next Josh Allen, which is it sounds crazy, but it's not that off. I mean, Jones has got some legs on him. He can sling it, and he plays on a dumpster fire. So it's like you got to put your guys in a position to succeed. But they're not succeeding. I do think firing Garrett is the right move. He's a chump. but they won't beat Philly. Philly's rolling right now, so.
Someone said on Twitter that Joe Judge should be the manager of a quick stop, not the Giants head coach. Do you agree with that?
He's a bad coach. He's not fit.
Moving on is to a game I think hopefully turns out to be good. Titans at Patriots. If Andy can go with his heart, well, damn it, I can too. I'm going to take the Pats here. I don't know if that's a hot take or not. Titans are good, but I think the Pats roll here. Their defense has looked amazing. Kyle Van Noy's played really good. I know Ken hates him.
He's such a tool.
Kyle Duggar has looked great this year. Matthew Judon is a game changer. Judon's the reason that that defense is so good.
Can I just point out that I'm picking the Patriots this week, but I have a huge gripe with Mac Jones and Matthew Judon. First of all, for Mac Jones, how do you not like pie on Thanksgiving? How do you not like pie in general?
I mean, pie's okay. It's like it's not a top tier dessert.
It's not a top tier dessert.
Okay, but still, how do you not like pies in general? He basically
not
said,
liking pie in general.
The only time I eat pie is Thanksgiving.
That's not the most egregious thing.
I agree with where Andy's going with this because you can't just say you don't like pie in general. That you don't like anything. Like there's 4,000 different pies. You can't say you don't like.
What about pot pie?
Yeah, exactly.
So Matthew Judon basically calling out macaroni and cheese, saying it's disgusting when asked about Thanksgiving side dishes. How the hell is mac and cheese disgusting? What planet are you from?
Well, it depends. What kind of mac and cheese are you eating? Are you eating like white people mac and cheese? Because I don't like white people mac and cheese. So
I like mac and cheese so much I'll eat Kraft. Give it to me.
Ken's not going to touch it there. I don't think.
Kraft is the worst kind of mac and cheese, but I'll still.
It depends. If it's not baked mac and cheese, I don't want it.
I'll eat any kind of mac and cheese. I love baked mac and cheese. Give me it all. I just have. Oh my god.
But his take is wrong.
And how do you hate mac and cheese?
His take is wrong because what are you having at Thanksgiving? You're having baked mac and cheese. No assholes showing up Thanksgiving dinner with Kraft.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I mean, it depends.
Must hate baked mac and cheese.
Some people make their mac and cheese where they make it creamy and then they just like mix the cheese in with the noodles and then they don't bake it off. They don't like put the shredded cheese on top and bake it off.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So they just show up with creamy mac and cheese, and that shit's gross.
So I'm gonna quote you. I'm not even. And here's this quote. I'm not even gonna answer your question. I'm gonna tell you we got to get macaroni and cheese off the table. Judon said that the dish is, quote, just cheese and noodles, and it's not that good. What the fuck is wrong with him?
Okay, so we're gonna go off the rails here for a second. I need each of you to tell me your top tier Thanksgiving side. I just need one or two from each of you.
I think the top.
Ken, go first.
My top side is stuffing by far, especially because we are off the rails anyway. So stuffing by far, and the reason I say that is because my grandmother has a Swedish recipe of some sort. It's definitely not a traditional stuffing, but it is like the best fucking stuffing I've ever had in my life. I absolutely love it. And it's so funny because the older generation's yeah, whatever, it's good, it's good. Me and all my cousins all feel the same way. It is by far the best. And so that's the big hot ticket Mahoney Thanksgiving stuffing, I would say.
Okay, do you have a second one?
A second one? Vig hasn't given us first.
Okay, Andy, give your first, and I'll give my first.
It's definitely stuffing, and it's got to be a crunchier. Alyssa, my wife, makes a pork sausage stuffing every year, and it's crunchier, it's spicier, it's got a kick to it. It's really, really good.
I can get behind that.
And then my number two would be the macaroni and cheese. So that's why I'm so offended by this. The Patriots are going to win this week. That's my pick. But damn, I'm never having Thanksgiving.
My first one would definitely be stuffing. So Ken took the best one. The way we make it in my household is there's some wine in it. It's mixed with the turkey
I hate
juices.
wine. No, I'm just giving you a hard
I
time.
like wine at your wedding. But like it's got some wine cooked into it. It's crunchy. It's good. Everything Vic said. My second though isn't mac and cheese. It's green bean casserole.
Oh,
Can't have
God.
Thanksgiving dinner without green
I
bean
was actually
casserole.
going to
Stop
say,
it.
hold on, before you kill him, because this is a pivotal question.
Okay.
Do you do anything to it? Do you put anything on it?
So traditional green bean casserole has like the mushroom soup. We use chicken soup. So we use the cream of chicken soup in it. And then the French's dried onions on the top.
We're going backwards.
With some Parmesan cheese. It's so good.
Okay, the Parmesan cheese is good because we do have a green bean casserole and I love it. And the reason why is because there's it's baked with the instead of whatever the hell you put on top of yours, you put Cheez-Its.
I mean, that could work, but have you ever had French's dried onions?
Yes, but Cheez-Its are so much more innovative.
I mean, I guess this is just that's the way that I've always had it since I was a little boy.
I think it's good. It certainly doesn't. It's not in the same.
And then candied yams are also good.
Also, if you make like homemade cranberry sauce, that shit is disgusting. You have to get the can. Oh
yeah, the gel. If you don't get the gel, it
needs to be in the shape of. It needs to be served in the shape of the can.
Yeah, homemade. No. I also like the little pearl onions too. Like you can cook off in the turkey gravy. Really good.
Who just eats those?
Anyone eats those. It's great.
Nobody just eats the little pearl onions. Those are weird.
No, that's great.
They bring a dish together, but I'm not just sitting there with a bowl of them.
No, you don't get a bowl. You get it in your gravy, bro. And then, of course, if you don't have fluffy mashed potatoes, then you're weird. You're a weirdo. But if you're my brother-in-law who is not American, he's from England. He eats. My mom makes him fish. She makes him tilapia for Thanksgiving.
That's strange.
Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't like turkey.
Oh, okay.
Give him give him the dark meat then. How do you not like dark meat? That's.
Oh,
he's not American, so he's not.
I eat a lot of dark meat. My entire in-laws don't eat it.
Are you a dark meat guy or are you a white meat?
I'll eat both. I don't care.
I'll eat both.
Forget turkey.
I was gonna say I like both.
I like both. Healthier side, you got to go with the white meat. But man,
here's a better question: do you traditionally cook your turkey in an oven or do you fry it?
I don't cook it, but oven, I believe.
We fry ours.
Yes, I don't recall ever having it fried, so I can't really knock it. I'd like to try that.
Good. The skin's really crispy. I love crispy skin, so the skin's super crispy. It's
good.
How long
do you fry it for?
40 minutes.
That's all you do? Wow.
Yeah. It's so much quicker than the oven. But you can't cook the stuffing in the
How do you fry it then? Because the turkey's huge.
It goes in a deep fryer.
Or you can do it outside and set your yard on fire. You ever seen the video?
We actually do it outside in the pool area.
Yes, you could set your whole yard on fire. You don't have much greenery in down.
No, but it's in the pool area. So like if there's a fire, you just splash the pool.
Throw it in the pool, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch for the alligators, though, Shane.
So
there's no alligators in a pool.
I have
but in your backyard.
I don't have a lake near me.
It's Florida, man. Come on, they're in the golf course.
They could be in your pipes. They could come up your toilet when you're. Never mind.
Oh yeah. All right, and Ken, you're taking the Patriots, right?
That's what we were doing. That's how this started. Yeah.
Yeah. Patriots. Bill struggles with Derrick Henry, but he does not struggle without Derrick Henry against Ryan Tannehill. We've seen that matchup many a time. So, Patriots.
Perfect. Get us a little bit back on track. Falcons at Jags. I'm taking the Jags. I think Trevor Lawrence and company can get it done. Matt Ryan's looked like shit the last 2 weeks.
He looks so fucking bad.
So I think the Jags get this one, especially playing at home. Ken, where are you on this one?
I'm gonna flip a coin.
I
One sec.
mean,
All
it's,
right. So heads is Jacksonville. All right, and it is heads Jacksonville for me. To you, Andy.
Who would have thought that at some point this year we would sweep picking the Jaguars?
I think this is the week because Matt Ryan has looked atrocious.
I have a bone to pick. I'm glad that landed on that because I started Matt Ryan in a fantasy league against the Cowboys.
I've had to start in the last 2 weeks because I don't have Kyler.
My God, has he been bad?
Which brings us to actually a really solid game. The Bucs traveling to Indianapolis to face the Colts. Ken, do the Bucs have the defense to stop Jonathan Taylor? This guy's been on fire.
They do. Their defense is not known to be soft up front. It's known to be soft on the back end, which typically is where Carson Wentz is good, but only when Jonathan Taylor has been effective. We've seen how this Colts offense operates. They go through Jonathan Taylor. Wentz is not the answer on his own, but when Taylor is efficient, so is Wentz. The thing with the Colts, and we said it on the show last week, is they need to stick with them all 4 quarters. That's what they've struggled with, except last week, and we saw what happened last week. But that was a best-case scenario for them. I don't think they're going to be able to replicate that, and I'm a little worried about the fact that Tampa Bay's offense is not struggling in the same way that Buffalo's is. So it was easy for them to stick with Jonathan Taylor for 4 quarters because they had the game under control the entire time. Tampa Bay is going to give them a little bit more of a game for sure. And if that is the case, they need to stick with Jonathan Taylor for all 4 quarters, which I think if like Tampa's scoring in bunches, I could see them getting away from that. I'm a little worried about them putting too much of the game into Carson Wentz's hands. And because of that, I will take Tampa Bay.
Okay. Andy, where are you on this one?
When I look at a game that's pretty evenly matched at least from my perspective of how well both teams are playing, Tampa Bay got it back in the gear, after losing to Washington, coming off their bye, they beat the Giants. So there's enough to take that. The Colts have been playing incredible right now. It's kind of one of those things where do you sell high on the Colts? Do you expect them to continue to replicate that kind of performance? Well, that would be based on how Jonathan Taylor does. And for me, I think the Bucs will be ready because I think they're going to want to stop the running game. I know that their secondary has been banged up a bit, which, from a Tampa Bay perspective. So, maybe that's it's not the worst thing in the world. Carson Wentz could exploit it. But for me, when it comes down to this, I'm going to go just look at the quarterbacks in this matchup. Tom Brady versus Carson Wentz. When I'm kind of flipping a coin, like, Ken literally just did with the last matchup, I'm going to go with the better quarterback in this matchup, and that is obviously Tom Brady. So I'm going to roll with Tampa Bay.
Okay. And I'm going to go different than you guys. I'm taking the Colts. I think Jonathan Taylor is going to continue his savage run. I know they may not be that soft up front. I think is an asset in the pass and run game. I think he'll be able to spread that defense out. Michael Pittman, I think, is going to have a better game this week. I think he's finally going to show up a little more. I just think the Colts in general are going to be better. So I'm going to take the Colts here to beat the Bucs, especially since the game's at home. If it was in Tampa, I'd go Tampa Bay. But with this being in Indy, I think they might have a little more of a jolt to them. So I'll take the Colts here. Which brings us to our second toilet bowl game of the day, or game of the week. Jets at the Texans. This is pretty quick for me. The Jets don't have Michael Taylor. They've got a ton of injuries on offense.
Carter.
Yeah, that's it, Michael Carter. So I'm going to take the Texans.
I'm going to take him for the same reason. I don't like them without Michael Carter. He was pretty versatile. Had a lot of good coming out of them, and I don't know what we're going to get out of the Jets. I know they looked pretty good offensively, and Elijah Moore looks great, but I still don't like them at all, and Houston's at home.
Andy, where are you on this one?
Again, it comes down to if I can't choose between either team, I look at who's the better quarterback. And Tyrod Taylor is a respectable, option between the two. I would much rather go with Tyrod Taylor in a game like this. So, yeah, give me Houston.
All right, and that brings us to the Chargers traveling to Denver. Could be a really good AFC West matchup. I'm going to take the Chargers. I think that was a big statement win against the Steelers. I just think they'll be able to handle Teddy Bridgewater and company, even after Cortland Sutton getting a big contract extension. So he'll be pretty hyped to play, prove his worth. Ken, where are you on this one?
I am on the Chargers, and the reason why is because other than the Broncos coming off a bye and being at home, I don't know what else they really have going for them, to be honest. And that is not enough of a reason for me. The Chargers just seem like a more complete team top to bottom, especially offensively. And yeah, that was a huge win for them against Pittsburgh. So I know this is a little trappy, but I do think that they're gonna pull this one out as well.
Andy, where are you on this?
I'm actually going differently than you guys. I'm taking Denver here. So the reason why I'm taking Denver is I think not only are they at home, the Chargers are coming off a high, winning that game against my Steelers. And I've liked the Chargers all year, but the thing that always scares me with the Chargers is their defense. Their defense is very lackluster at times. They can give up some plays, deep, but they can also struggle against physical running teams. We saw that against the Minnesota Vikings. I think the Broncos at home can run it down their throats with Gordon and Javonte Williams, and then they play defense as a result. And the play action boot passes that gets Bridgewater into a better rhythm offensively. I've seen it before. And I think we're going to see it again. I think Denver's defense shines based off their ability to run the football. So for me, I'm going Denver in this close divisional matchup.
All right. Which brings us to another pretty solid game, Vikings at 49ers. These last few games are pretty good. This should be a solid matchup. The Vikings have looked good. Justin Jefferson's coming off the best week of his season so far. 49ers have Jimmy G's looked good. Trey Sermon got some burn last week. He had 32 rushing yards and 25 receiving. So it looks like he might start getting involved in the offense a little more. So I'm going to go the 49ers here. I think at home, Vikings traveling to them. This seems like a win. Andy, where are you on this?
I shouldn't have faded Minnesota last week because I started to get on a roll picking them. Minnesota just went a couple weeks ago to LA and Chargers, so the road home doesn't really faze them, especially with how good that Dalvin Cook has been and actually how good that Kirk Cousins has been. And they come back and beat the Packers at home. So for me, I think they continue to rely on Dalvin Cook. They continue to utilize Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. It's been an incredible combination for them, and frankly, their defense has gotten better because of it. So for me, the 49ers finally got a win at home on Monday Night Football the other night, and then they follow that up with a great win in Jacksonville. But for me, I just lean Minnesota because I like their receivers on the outside. I love Dalvin Cook. I think he's more dependable than anybody from a running game on San Francisco. So for me, I'm taking Minnesota.
Ken, what are you thinking?
Both teams are kind of humming as far as offensive pass-catching weapons right now, Debo, Kittle, Jefferson, Thielen, all playing at the top of their games. Obviously, Dalvin Cook playing at the top of his game. Cousins and Jimmy G both playing at the top of their games. But the Vikings have played just about every team close this year. And the story for most of the season has been they can't win close games. They've always found a way to lose them. Well, now that they've started to turn a corner a little bit, and they've started to figure out how to win these close games. And I think that says a lot about them gaining confidence as a team, starting to gain their identity, starting to put things together. And I think if a few more of these games turn their way, they're a playoff team. I'm not totally sold on the Niners as a playoff team. I do love Debo. I do love George Kittle. I don't love the running game. It's always banged up. Let's put it that way. It is always banged up. And I think Shanahan is too cute. I think he's put Trey Sermon in the doghouse for no reason, just other than the fact that he doesn't like him. He likes to get cute, and while I think Mike Zimmer is a little bit of a dope on the offensive end, this is a little bit of a coaching offense versus defense matchup, and I think the Vikings are playing some pretty good defense. So I kind of like them to go on the road and get another tough win here. If they lose this game, I'll probably be off of them because I'll know that they're pretenders who just play strong up to their opponents but don't get it done. But I feel much more confident putting my trust in the Vikings than the 49ers, so I'm going to go with the Vikings.
Which brings us to the following week, or the following game. Another NFC West, NFC Central, or NFC North game. Rams at Packers. Ken, where are you leaning on this? This seems to be – it could be the game of the week.
I think it is. I wanted to pick the Rams, but it seems like Stafford is a little more prone to mistakes than he was earlier in the season. We're not seeing that elevated play from him. And we know what happens when you go to Lambeau. You're going to get a top-notch Green Bay team that's going to put up points. They're playing strong, Green Bay is. I expect Aaron Jones will continue to be out, so that means A.J. Dillon's going to see a lot of run. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're losing anything in the run game. I do think Sean McVay, coming off the bye, will clean some things up. But, yeah, I kind of don't like them going into Green Bay right now. Their defense does have weaknesses other than outside of Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. I'm gonna go with the Packers. I think Aaron Rodgers is playing a very high level. I think he'll be able to find the weaknesses around the Rams offense. The Rams defense. Whereas I think Green Bay's defense has played pretty stout, and I think Stafford's just more prone to mistakes. And at the end of it, I think it's going to be which quarterback makes fewer mistakes. I'll put my faith in Rodgers for now. You know I hate doing that, but I do think they're going to win.
Yeah, I'm going Packers as well at Lambeau. It just makes sense. Stafford struggled historically at Lambeau. So I just think it's a smart play. Andy, where are you on this one?
Yeah, these two teams are kind of taking opposite trajectories right now, right? You have Green Bay, coming off that win, or actually lost last week. Despite that, I still think they're playing really well. I don't necessarily count the Kansas City game with Jordan Love. That's, without Aaron Rodgers, with how well they played defensively, I think they actually win that game. There were so many opportunities for Green Bay in that game, and Jordan Love just couldn't do it. Matthew Stafford, like you alluded to, Shane, 3-7 career at Lambeau with his days with Detroit. It's hard to trust him right now. It's hard to trust the defense right now. Actually, they're kind of trying to get in sync with one another. And the Packers defense has been underrated as of late. A.J. Dillon does not, lose anything. I actually think they gain more with A.J. Dillon in the backfield than they do with Aaron Jones, to be honest with you. And I just won't bet against Aaron Rodgers at home. Plus, it's going to be cold. This is an LA team that likes to play warm football. And I don't think going up to Green Bay is really the recipe for their success. So I'm going with Green Bay.
All right. So all three of us on the Packers. Then we've got Sunday Night Football. You got my boy Baker Mayfield and the Browns going to Baltimore to face Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. This should be a good old AFC North slobber knocker. Andy, as the AFC North guy, what are you thinking here?
So this is a game for Baltimore to come out angry. And, they got the win in kind of dramatic fashion last week with Devontae Freeman's touchdown in a game that was just ugly from the start. Obviously no Lamar Jackson. I think if he comes back, and I'm assuming he does, that bodes well for Baltimore. I think their defense, obviously not having to, facing the tandem quarterback duo of Justin Fields, who has shown signs of improvement, but, obviously got hurt. And then you have Andy Dalton. The Ravens were used to seeing Andy Dalton from his days with the Bengals, so they kind of had an advantage there. I think the Ravens are going to play better defensively. I think the Ravens are going to find themselves at home. They're going to be motivated on Sunday night. I just don't know what to expect from Baker. He's not healthy. I think the Ravens will focus on stopping the ground game with Nick Chubb, neutralizing that, and that could not, that'll bode well for me for picking the Baltimore Ravens to get the home victory on Sunday. I like Baltimore.
I agree. I'm also on the Ravens for this one. I just think the Ravens are going to throw too much at Baker. That wide receiver core is super banged up. I just don't think they have enough to get it done. So I'll take Baltimore. Ken, I assume you're probably going Ravens as well.
I will be. They do get Kareem Hunt back, so I think they're going to play strong. They're back to their run-first identity. But I do think Baker's a little banged up. So Ravens at home, primetime matchup. Typically, Lamar plays well in these situations, so I expect the Ravens to win.
Yep. And then we go to our Monday night game. Seahawks going to traveling all the way to the East Coast to face the Washington football team. Football team coming off a big win last week. I think Tyler Heineke does it again. I think the Washington football team beat the Seahawks. That's my pick. I think they're starting to turn it around a little bit. Obviously, I think it's a little bit too late to make a kind of playoff run, but I think Ron Rivera kind of, makes it a respectable season. Ends it on a good note. Ends it on a good win streak to end the season. So I'll take the football team. Ken, what are you doing here?
Yeah, Heineke's kind of dealing a little bit, and Washington's hot, and I think Seattle's toast for the year. I think you could stick a fork in them. They don't look great offensively. They want to be a run-first team. They can't run the ball. They want to air it out. They don't have the ability to, even though they should. The defense is spotty. I know Washington's is also spotty, but they're really humming offensively right now with Heineke, and Terry's looking good, and a lot of the other pass catchers are starting to step up, and maybe that's coincidental. It's coinciding with Heineke playing better, but Washington might be putting something together here. So I like them as well. I was kind of weirded out that Seattle was favored by 1 here. I guess that's because of Wilson, but this doesn't look like Russell Wilson. And with the long East Coast road trip, I will definitely take the football team.
Yeah. And Andy, where are you on this?
I want to take Seattle just because for me, this is a perfect opportunity for them to get right, but they haven't really shown me anything. And I think that Russell Wilson, I just don't think he's healthy, man. I admire his grit and his determination and his love for the game to try to get back as soon as possible. This just tells you that, these guys can come back and heal, but they're not necessarily truly healthy and they're not ready to be back yet. And I think that's the case for Russell Wilson. I just think their whole team is off, to be honest with you, this year. And it could be an easy pick to say, hey, Seattle's going to get it right. Washington's defense has been terrible this year, but they've shown glimpses Washington has of, being alive and coming together. And I think this is another opportunity for Washington to just prove the naysayers wrong. They have 7 losses. I mean, they're not necessarily out of that 7th playoff spot yet. We just talked about it's really the Eagles, maybe the 49ers, and then who else is going to step up in that spot? I don't really see many other teams that could. So this is an opportunity for Washington to continue their ascension and to give them an outside chance at a playoff spot. So Taylor Heineke, their running game, McLaren, they're just going to find a way to do it, I think. And I'd rather root for Washington than Seattle, so I'm going to roll with you guys and take Washington.
All right. That'll do it for our show. That was super good. Ended on a Washington football team streak, so that probably means
DMV getting both games, by the way, both primetime games, by the way. I love it.
Ken, let us know where we can find you, brother.
You can see my personal email is right there. Personal Twitter handle is right there at Kembo J Slice. And by now, my other handle is at EC Breaking Co. At EC Breaking Co. Collectible card account. If you're ever interested in getting into the sports memorabilia realm, I am your guy.
All right. And if you want his personal email, hit me up. I charge $5 and I'll give it to you.
Hey.
That's $5. Wow.
Andy, where can we find you at?
You can find me at Viggy Betts on Twitter. Typically, I dish out winners. Tonight, I'm not. So I apologize for everybody who's listening who tailed me tonight. But we still have 2 more bets, and I like both of them. It is UCLA +7 and that over 156.5. So hopefully we can end tonight on a good note and give some momentum for the rest of the week, which is going to be a big, big week. It's Thanksgiving. There's football. There's great college basketball. There's Premier League and all that good stuff. So let's hope for a positive finish to the day so we can roll into this great holiday weekend coming up.
And if he's not giving you winners, hit me up. I will sell you his personal address for $3. And you can send him some hate mail. But otherwise, you can follow me at Ask Us Sports or ask_Shane_27 is my personal Twitter. Great show. We'll see you next week for some more burning hot takes. Everyone have a great night.
Don't you forget there's a price you should pay. I am the game and I want to play.
And there he goes.
He'll learn to figure that out at some point.